Hi everyone, I'm the Rambling Photon, and today I'm going to be talking about a feminist double standard and how I think about it, and an analogy that I find useful in as a mental framework for it. So the double standard that I'm talking about is the slut stud sort of sexual labeling double standard. And my argument is going to be that it's in fact not a double standard, but a single standard with a different metric, or a different sense of the standard is one removed from the language we use about it. Okay, so the way I think about it is with an analogy of a game of tag. Okay, so in the game of tag, everybody is either participating or obviously either participating or not. But all of the men are going to be it, and all of the women are not it. So the men are pursuing the women, and the women are being pursued by men. Now, when we look at the players and we judge the players, what we can say, and this is sort of analogous to the slut and stud terms, is that when we praise the men, we praise them by saying they tagged a lot of women. And we praise the women, or we degrade the women by saying they got tagged by a lot of men. Now, this might seem like a double standard to somebody who's not really understanding the game, because there is an imbalance there. Oh, it's two people touching each other and only one is getting credit for it. The reason that the men are getting credit for it is because they need to chase down, they need to pursue the women, and when they catch them, when they tag them, that's praiseworthy, right? That's saying, oh, you are good at this game. Now, if we think of it sort of one level deeper, instead of it being, oh, they just tagged or got tagged, okay, so we're not going to praise for that. Well, instead we're going to say is they're fast, or agile, or whatever you want to use for that, okay? So the fast players, the fast men, can tag lots of women. The fast women don't get tagged except by the fastest men. Okay? So it's not being a slut is not saying you're fast. It's not the same praise. It's saying you're slow. You got tagged a lot. So what does that mean when you flip it? It means that the male equivalent of slut is actually virgin. You're slow. You couldn't catch anybody. You couldn't get a woman to sleep with you. Okay? So the underlying metric is not the sexual activity. The underlying metric is, in some sense, how good you are at playing the dating game, playing the mating game. Okay? And it's very different between the two sexes because one is pursuing and one is being pursued. When you praise somebody for being good at this reproduction thing, you're going to praise the people who are it for being capable of tagging lots of people, for being fast. When you insult them, you're going to insult them by saying they're slow. Okay? So on the fast side, we have stud for the pursuers, and we have chased for the pursued. Okay? Somebody who hasn't been caught yet. Okay? Nobody's good enough to catch them. And then on the other side, we have, if you're a pursuer, you're slow, you're a virgin, you've never caught anybody. And if you are tagged by everybody and their brother, then you're a slut. You're slow. You're not able to avoid getting tagged, right? So the underlying metric is the same, right? In tag, it's speed, right? You're praising both for being fast. You're praising both for the same characteristic, but you're doing it in different ways because it's expressed in different ways. Similarly, you insult people with the same metric. You call them slow. Okay? And when you do that, it's speaking to the underlying metric in the different ways that it's expressed in the game. Okay? So if you want to take a step back, it's not a double standard, it's a single standard. Or it's a single metric. It's a single understanding based on the rules of the game. Okay? You're still praising or insulting based on the same metric. Okay? But because of the nature of the game, it appears as if it's a double standard. So if we want to get around this issue, this problem of the double standard in the feminist sense, is to change the nature of the game. So instead of having the men be the pursuers, you have sort of a more egalitarian approach where both genders, both sexes, whatever you want to say, are pursuing each other or trying to come to a mutual conclusion, right? As opposed to having a selection based on pursuer pursued. Now, I have no idea what that model would look like, and I'm not particularly invested in the change in that, so whatever works, you know. But if a feminist wants to change the paradigm, have the lady ask out the guy. It might be that easy. And at that point, because of the way you're changing it, that might eventually change the social perception, so that we come up with other language that unifies to directly praising the underlying understanding as opposed to praising the effects of that measuring tool in the game. Okay, so those are my thoughts on that. If you like my content, share, like, subscribe, all that shit. Hope to catch you next time.